Hi guys, it's ShishkaBobber1 coming right back at you with another Boom Beach video. Today's video, guys, I've got two things I want to talk about. In the second part of the video, I'm going to be discussing a new emerging troop meta or combo that I've seen in this rank range that I'm at. Maybe let's say at rank 17 through 23 or so. This is the CHZ combo, the cheesy combo as I call it, which is Cryo Heavy Zuka with Kavan and Second Wind. But that'll be covered more in the second part of the video. The first part of the video I want to get into is the topic that I sort of briefly mentioned in the last video about my approach to warships right now. My approach, as I said it, is trying to stay behind the wave of exploitation. Lovely, getting attacked. That's okay. We don't actually need the game right now. So I want to stay behind the wave of exploitation, but it got me thinking, how exactly do I identify this point? Because it's just a feeling up until now. I have an idea because, you know, it's like as I start getting close to it, I start seeing more warships that I feel are too advanced for what they should have. And some of your comments from the last video have helped me narrow this point down based on how many, what your tech level is and how regular your chests have been. So thank you for that, guys. I really appreciate it. But then I went one step further and I used some more data. Let's jump into that. If you don't like math and charts and graphs, just skip forward and find the CHZ part of this video. You should like that. Hopefully I make a couple of good hits in there too. But let's jump into this now. What you're looking at here is tech versus stars, all right? This is very similar to tech versus rank, but the thing is you really need to break rank down into stars because the different leagues have different ranges that separate each level of rank. For instance, like at the Diamond League and above, it's every 10 stars brings you to a new rank, but at lower leagues, it's like 8 stars or 6 stars or whatever. So you got to keep track of that. It's like having different base number systems when you're counting ranks. So just to make it consistent, you just need to count in terms of stars, all right? That's the point. Now, what I did was I took sampling from 19 of our task force members. I'm in Ship with a Plan. We're the premier English-speaking task force for warships. At least that's our vision, you know, and we have a lot of very skilled and talented players from all over the planet. I'm just mentioning that because I want you to realize that this data is not maybe typical of all people. You definitely have a higher skill level of people playing in this task force as a whole, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It still crosses the spectrum that we need to see. Now, what do we see here, guys? What do we see? At first glance, let's get my drawing tool activated here. At first glance, you might just be tempted to see one trend. And that trend that you see might be something that runs like this, okay? And this kind of looks normal. It's something you might expect. You would expect that, you know, the competition really starts to get fierce at the top and people really start to get separated more. And that would be something that, you know, would be a normal type of a distribution in a system like this. But that's not really what's going on here. We need to take a closer look to understand what's going on and how this relates to that wave of exploitation I was talking about. Because it's there. It's staring you right in the face right now. Let me help you point it out. Or let me help you to see it. There's actually two trends happening in this chart. The first one runs from here, like this. And the second one, guys, if I can get my arm just right, I messed this up in an earlier shooting, runs from here, kind of like this. All right, now maybe you're starting to see where that wave is or that wall. We will draw it for you. Basically, the thing that separates it is what I call the wall of exploitation. And that runs from here, actually all the way up to about here. Now, what do we see here, guys? Everything before that wave of exploitation is quasi-normal, okay? That's what you would expect. The people that have been playing the game right have been working really hard in that range right before the wave or the wall of exploitation. Everything after that is where you see there's a large dramatic jump. That's because of all the extra tech level that was achieved by the infinite chest glitch. And then they're playing their game in their own meta. That's actually the dark meta that I was referring to in my first real kind of big video here on warships. That region here is the dark meta. All right. Let me locate where I am on that for you, so this makes a little bit more sense. So basically, guys, I am at, or when I did this data, I was right at rank 22, which puts me at 120 stars. I'm actually this data point that's right here. That's me. Okay, so that's where I got, and as you can see, I am right behind that wave, right where I want to be. Now, it gets really murky in this region because the whole whole area around that wave is polluted. You've basically got a zone probably from, oh, I don't know, plus minus 20 or 30 stars, probably at least plus minus 20 stars, because that would be like 2 ranks. You've probably got a zone that runs from, let's say, oh heck, I don't know, guys. Let's say from here all the way up to all the way up to here. Everything in this zone right here is just really murky, okay? And more so on the side behind the wave. I can't really tell you about what's after the wave because I'm not there. But you get a lot of weird stuff happening. You get a lot of people that are actually have high tech levels, but they're purposely dropping trophies to come back, and it makes the push at the top of the real players, or the players that didn't cheat, actually very complicated. And it also leads to another aspect that I touched on before, which is that these things change. Like this wall, I wanted to explain more about this wall or this wave, okay, this wave of exploitation. It actually moves over time. Everything here shifts. This is just a snapshot in time from last night. That wall actually moves forward in this direction. And there's an inflationary force that's causing that, guys. And that force is dominated, well, it has 2 factors, but it's dominated particularly by one. Those 2 factors, in terms of order of importance, are first, the extra stars that are generated from win streaks. That is what I warned you guys about, that it's inflating the system. It's causing the game to be more of a grind than it should be. And the second force, but to a much lesser extent, I think, is the daily first win 2-star bonus. That is also a generation of artificial stars. What that does is, like I mentioned, it puts more stars in the pool, and then it makes people have to play more to grab their proper share of those stars. And what you'll see is that, like I said, this whole graph will shift over time. And maybe a better way to explain this, I made a nice analogy here for you guys. Hopefully this works. Yes, I've got visual aids. I know, I'm nuts. Okay. Let's see if I can get this up here properly now. Okay, well, the writing's in reverse, but bear with me. Okay, that says stars, and it's got a direction that shows the indication. Now imagine this rubber band is where we are over time. This would be, the marks on my rubber band here, let me get a little closer to the camera. They basically correspond to tech level. And the marks on this envelope that I'm holding in my hand, those correspond to stars. And what happens is, over time, there's an expansion force, or an inflationary force, that causes an expansion. Now watch how the individual tech levels expand over the star spectrum. And the force that's causing this right here, the force that's causing this is the inflationary force from the extra stars generated. It's not quite an equal force, like as I'm putting on this rubber band, because in the rubber band the strain is constant throughout it. There's actually probably more inflationary force at the top due to the proliferation of win trading that occurs up there and the ease for that to happen, or win streak trading like I called it. But bottom line is, artificial stars are being generated all throughout the spectrum. And the point about this analogy is, I want you to understand that over here, this is my stylus, okay, this gray pencil or whatever. This is the top of the leaderboard, if you will. These are the really good players. Now, what happens from the expansionary forces is they actually shift a lot further in stars than people at the bottom. Look how the lines move. The lines closer to my stylus travel a lot more under the same expansion rate as the lines closer to my blue pen over here. And that's what I mean by it turning it into a grind. In order to get to the top, because of that inflationary force, these people have to play a lot more and gather a lot more of those artificial stars, which is why it's kind of a bad thing. But yeah, I'm kind of going off on point here. The thing is, though, you need to just keep that in mind when you're trying to kind of stay behind this area. The proper spot might be 2 ranks below this area, like I was saying, because maybe you'll find less people that are spilling over from the from the exploitation wave, because they do migrate back, and a lot of that is because of the 2-star system and how you can generate more stars during win streaks. You know, a lot of people, if their chest timers work, they'll save up all 4 chests and then they'll just go and pound them all out. But to do that, they've already deranked a lot, and then they can just pound it out quickly and be done with it. Okay, that's one of the great strategies about it. You might also wonder, since we're just looking at this chart right now, you might be wondering about one particular area, and it's right here. Like, who are those two data points right there? Let me tell you, that's Toomba, guys. That's Toomba. Even math tells you this guy is amazing. He's way below the trend, and that's just a reflection of skill, I suppose, skill and strategy. But that's Toomba there, being the man. I digress, though. That's not really relevant here. So, yeah, like I said, this whole thing shifts, this whole thing stretches just like the rubber band that I showed you. The only difference is that, in my analogy with the rubber band, there was no limit to how far it can stretch. In this game, actually, there is. That's Champions League 10. Everything just smashes up against that, or the rank 10 in the Champions League, and then you're done. So this will get stretched out and compressed, but as this happens, as everything expands, even this rank range will start to expand a little bit too. But the point is, it's a moving target, so you got to keep your eyes on it. This is all part of the reason why they need to reset the game. Even though maybe there might be like not so many people that are in this region up at the top up here. You can even see from the graph, we've got less data points over here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we presumably have about 13 on the other side. And I'm in a group that actually took advantage of that, right? So, you know, I agree, there's not a lot of people that did it, but the point is, it still has very big ramifications and effects on the rest of the game. And at the top, all the people down in this region right here, they're totally getting screwed over by it. And it's also, again, not fair if they don't like start us off at 0 again, or all at the same level in the next season. We should not be starting based on what happened on this season. This season's totally inflated, totally out of whack. All of those boats that got way over leveled at the start are killing it. All of the the win streak trading is just killing it. The system was never designed for that, and as a result, they would be much more like in a better state when they launch season 2 to start us off at 0. And I just want to make that point, but it also plays into how to keep track of what's going on. My videos, in fact, guys, everything I want to do will focus only on this region over here. Okay, that region will shift over time, but that's all I'm going to be covering. I might mention some of the stuff that happens in the other region, but it's not really relevant at all. And in terms of what we can expect going forward, and I imagine most of you are not in that region anyway. So all that matters is everything over here. So that's what we're going to be talking about. I hope that makes some sense. I hope that wasn't too like mathy for you guys or whatever. But I guess there's another point to make on it as well. I kind of pointed it out there with Toomba. Like, it's curious to know where you fall on this line. And take a look. Figure out how many stars you have and what your tech level is, and then figure out where you fall on this line. Basically, if you fall below this line down here, consider yourself a very skilled player. And if you fall above this line, consider yourself either not as skilled or possibly having made some bad choices in the tech tree. It can reflect either one of those two traits. Okay, it's a combination of the both. Sometimes we just make horrible choices in the tech tree, and they're not very useful. So even though our tech number's high, we're still not able to get that many trophies. But I find this is a really interesting way to break down the game. And if I had a larger data set with hundreds of players just randomly distributed across the spectrum, I think we'd see a much better picture. But I have a feeling the picture obeys the trend lines that I've depicted for you here today. So there it is. There's my little discussion on that. There's my discussion on inflation. I hope that makes a bit more sense. I've mentioned this in a few other videos, but here I can actually put some numbers behind it, and I can put some visualization to these concepts. Yeah, and I hope that makes sense. So, the last point I guess I should mention is the reason why I drew this ceiling up here, or the top of it as high as I did. I was actually lining it up with this region right over here. I know that there's still some funk in this range, like between, let's say, here and over here. I know there's still a bunch of, it just depends how many people ran the exploit, like how far they went with it. So there's still some weird progression area in there, but basically after that point, you've just got the people that had the fully maxed warships, and they've just been, just racking in all the stars they can get to try to race to a legendary 10. That is certainly not the way the game was designed to be played, and it just needs to be restarted again. And I think I said that enough. So let's go back into warships now, guys. And whoops, let's get rid of all that junk. Go back into warships. They're done. And we're back, guys. So this right here is the loadout I was gonna show you. This is the cheese, the CHZ, the Cryo Heavy Zuka. It's basically played with 1 Cryo, 3 Heavies, and 4 Zukas with Kavan and Second Wind. Second Wind, I have it as level 6. I highly recommend it. One cool thing that I found out is you only have to get Kavan up to rank 4 to get Second Wind level 6. So you don't have to go all the way up on Kavan to get what you need for this combo. The main idea, the main thing how this works is, oh heck, I guess I'll just feature one of these. It's just easier to show you. Basically, you want to keep your heavies alive as long as possible. You use Second Wind to bring the heavies back. Your worst enemies are single target damage, and it's really good against things that have high rocket damage. This one would qualify because these are amped rockets, right? What are the total stats? We're looking at 100% on the health, and there's no cannon for me, is there? And I don't know, about 30 or 40% on the damage, something like that. 40%, I think. So damage isn't too bad, but these rockets will absolutely hurt. Things we worry about are doom cannons and boom cannons and the like. These kind of things are going to hurt us. All these rockets hurt a bit too. 30,000 on the doom cannons. Let's just BART them out. Let's go 2 barrage on this guy, 1 barrage on his friend. Might not actually get to his friend right now. Let's go 1 artillery. Oh, got him. Well, let's take care of the friend. Let's go 1, 2. See where that gets us. And we'll go for a third one right. Where do I want it? We'll put it right here on the rocket launcher. Boom. Okay. Now let's let her loose, guys. Here we go. CHZ. Uh-oh, he's hitting my base. That's not good. I don't have a lot of confidence in this, guys, because actually I did this a lot earlier and wasn't having good results with it. Spent a long time doing this, trying to make this video for you with CHZ. I don't know why I'm doing it now, maybe because I'm crazy. Let's put some critters out in front. Okay, let's shock all the single point we're moving into. At least over there. Yeah, we've only got 8 GBE right now, or 9 GBE, so we need to be really careful how we use it. Looking at our heavy count, we still got enough of them up. I'm waiting until we get, okay, we're down 4. Let's get heavies back. Looks like we lost some cryos in the mix. Let's see, let's get heavies back again. Let's throw an artillery over here. Let's shock something. Like, we need to shock that hot pot when it comes up. Shocking the hot pot. We need to get a res out here. Let's res. Let's get some more heavies back. Please give me heavies. We need to cycle that shock on the hot pot. The heavies can eat it for a bit, but we don't want to have them eating it for too long, guys. Okay, looks like that's down. Yeah, this is actually a good CHZ hit. I'm glad I decided to showcase it. Better than any of the ones I was trying to do earlier. Okay, let's put a shock over here on our left flank. We need to be very careful not to lose Kavan here. I think we're going to lose Kavan. Let's smoke him. Alright, let's shock all the single point. Yeah, Kavan's going to run over there. That's why I shocked the single point, because I knew Kavan would run back. It's still probably not going to help. Let's put some critters down. Okay, we do have some Zukas that might eat it for us. Alright, good. Now come on over to the heavy. That's a good Kavan. Okay, we're losing Zukas. Shock the rocket. Come on, Zukas. I can't think of many other better plays. Let's put some critters in front. The Zukas are all gone. Just gonna have to dump some artillery. Actually, guys, that was a good CHZ. So there you go. That's how you do CHZ. I guess I will showcase it. But let's show you the other one. Let's show you the new one. Did he? What did he do? Did he try to CHZ me? I hate how the replays are bugged, because he might have tried to do a rush. He's probably trying to do a rush. He was probably doing something with warriors. It looks like a warrior hit for the fact that he's flaring the building. The replay will fail. But he was able to get some, at least one engine room with the warrior hit, so good for you, sir. I don't even have warriors yet. Okay, let's go back to the one I really want to show you, though. That's cool though, guys. That's CHZ, and I recommend you look into that. It's very good against things that have high splash damage, and those amped rockets were a perfect example. You just have to cycle that second wind and shot key defenses, and you'll do okay. Some people like to run it with a medic, but nah, not me. Just go straight up like that. 1-3-5. CHZ cheese. Okay, now back to this. We're gonna do a 5-3 Gren Med. This is where it gets really crazy. 5-3 Gren Med with brick and cluster grenade. Oh yes, that's right, cluster grenade, because we got it on level 6, guys. Took a quick look. It does quite a bit of damage, and it's 3 GBE for the first use, and then it's 3 GBE more for each subsequent use. So it goes 3, 6, 9, 12, whatever. It's relatively cheap for the amount of damage you can get out of it. Let's jump right into a battle. Alright, we're back, guys. A couple of fails on the cluster grenade testing here. Man, it works so well when I wasn't shooting the video, guys. I just don't want to waste your time. I just need to keep these videos compact. But there are 2 fails, I'll just tell you. Been coming up against some rough bases. Let's see, 100% on the health, and what do we got on damage? Are your cannons max? No, they're not. Well, it's probably 100% anyway. No, but it's close. Whatever, I don't really feel like doing the math. It's a lot. It's, 90%. There you go. Now, the question is, where do we drop Grens? We're going to definitely be dropping Grens on the left side to clear a bunch of junk out. That grappler will be a problem. It'll be taking our precious little Grens away from us. But we'll see. We'll try to get as much GBE as we can. That's the name of the game. And then once we do that, we want to go to our area where we will do our cluster grenades. That, I'm going to show you where we're going to do it, guys. Let's trash everything. Let's draw. Okay, yeah. Where we're going to try to hit this engine room right here. Brick will stand, I think, about in this location right here. Right by the sniper tower. So let's see what junk covers that. Well, hopefully the Grens kill all these boom cannons and stuff. Sniper tower I don't really care too much about. Grappler we absolutely care about. Shock launcher, I think she'll be okay. That's awfully close. Honestly, guys, it looks like it's just the grappler if we don't get these boom cannons taken out. So that's good. We can just throw 1 shock down for the grappler, and we should be good. Maybe these boom cannons as well, huh? Well, at least this one. Yeah, a shock that covers this boom cannon and this grappler is all we're looking for. All right, let's send the Grens out and farm up some GBE. Let's stagger them out a bit, like that. We'll stagger the medics out too, huh? Off to the races, guys. Give me some GBE. So we're starting off with 84 GBE. The whole point of this is to collect GBE and not really spend it. The only time it's worth spending it is if you know that by spending it, you can save enough Grens to get that GBE back. But that's actually a pretty rare circumstance when that happens. Okay, well, he retreated. They're doing pretty good. They're really getting us a lot of GB. Oh, we are in the range of the grappler, though. I like the work that we're getting done, though, to be honest. I don't even feel like touching anything. We're up to 117 GBE. We're not going to get that other boom cannon, though, which kind of stinks. I wonder if we can try to get it. Let's reflare to try to get that boom cannon. We need our medics to follow along so they don't get all killed, because we are still taking rocket fire. We'll be taking mortar fire too. This is a big task for our medics to keep up with this. And the mortar just took out more medics. I'll tell you what though, guys, taking out that boom cannon is pretty big here. But I also like to save GBE for the rush itself. It is about go time. Let's go ahead and just get brick out now. I don't quite have the timing on all this junk down yet. Let's drop an artillery on the boom cannon. I just want it gone. It's going to cost me too much in shocks. Okay, perfect. Now, let's flare brick over here. Let's start our smoking. Let's get her up to the sniper tower. Smoke and smoke. I should have waited on that second smoke because smokes aren't nearly as long as I'm used to. Let's drop some critters, hit cluster grenade, flare that, and shock the boom cannon and the grappler. Okay, we got all the cluster grenades off that we could. Boom, guys, and it pops. That's really all we can do. We'll just drop in some more barrage and artillery just for some extra damage. Is that enough? Did that just work? Did we just pull off a miracle with Brick and her cluster grenade? Yes, we did, guys. Look at that. Look at that right there. So, I think I'll tell you what. I want to keep the video short. We got a lot of content in there. I'm going to wrap it up right there. So, we talked about the wave of exploitation. We featured a CHZ hit, and now we also featured a Gren Med with Brick and her cluster grenade. What more could you want in a video, guys? I don't know. But I'll tell you what, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned to my channel for more crazy content like this. And remember, guys, like always, be kind to others, because if you're not, you're just being mean, and mean people suck. Have a great day.